Strategy is very simple. Make America great again, that's all.
What do you expect?
Because our country's going to hell. And we're going to turn it around fast. There's no strategy. We're going to turn it around fast. And I look forward to Thursday. I know he's locked up in a log cabin someplace.
The man is 1 in a trillion. He is in the zone. Look, I think the debate is rigged, but he's as ready as anybody can be for that crazy debate where they're going to be controlling the microphone and doing their stuff with the mic check and the turning it off and whatever. It's incredible. The way this man spent the past week. Well, the president of the United States is actually in hiding. President wasn't kidding. Joe Biden literally is hiding, has been in a log cabin at Camp David, along with a group of people advising him like crazy, the same people who brought us the loss in Afghanistan, the same people who are actually playing footsie with Hamas right now and undermining Israel. All of these people in their own little separate cabins, some of them bunking with each other, trying to prop up Joe Biden for the big night on CNN. But the contrast was and is amazing. Donald Trump everywhere and anywhere. Joe Biden in hiding, in absentia, in exile. That's not leadership. You know, the debate at this point should not be a big deal if you're the president of the United States. You know, you still have to do the job, don't you? Here the president is with law enforcement, on his plane, multiple events all over the place, leading. That is what leadership looks like. Joe, you'll never have it. No amount of cramming is ever going to get you it either. So, I'll have more to say on Thursday night. I don't like the conditions whatsoever, but Donald Trump is ready. I also say this, you should watch some of these rallies. You know, a lot of us see the clips on the news and that's enough. You got to sit down and watch the whole thing. You'll learn stuff. You really do. And some things have kind of maybe you've forgotten about. It's important. I watched the whole Faith and Freedom event in Washington. This was on Saturday. Take a look.
You wouldn't have had that Afghanistan disaster as an example. Not getting out. I was going to get out. I was going to keep Bagram, though, because it's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. They're giving up one of the biggest air bases in the world. You know who occupies it now? Take a guess. China. China occupies Bagram.
You know, I had heard something about that, then I forgot about it, and he's right. Yeah, initially the Taliban took over Bagram the moment we left, and guess who's moved in to a portion of the airport? Chinese forces. Yes, training Haqqani network fighters. And this base, and Afghanistan itself, people forget, actually borders China. Now, why would Joe Biden just get the hell out as fast as he did to give China such an advantage? Can anybody figure that one out? More from the event. Who remembers the name Paula Harlow? I forgot, and we should all remember.
Just last month, the Biden DOJ got Paula Harlow, a 75-year-old woman in poor health, sentenced to 2 years in prison for singing outside of a class. She was singing, actually, a beautiful voice. She was singing beautifully outside of a clinic. And fearing she would die in prison, her husband pleaded with the judge for mercy and even asked to be thrown in prison with his wife. And the judge responded by mocking their religion. He was mocking their religion. I wonder who that judge is. Paul is one of many peaceful pro-lifers who Joe Biden has rounded up, sometimes with SWAT teams, and thrown them in jail.
It is amazing what happened to Paula Harlow as Black Lives Matter shuts down cities. This woman, you want to see her crime? You want to see her committing the crime? We have it on tape. She's sitting in a chair singing a song. And for this offense, since it was down the hall from an abortion clinic, she's going to jail for 2 years, 75 years old. She's ill. And the president was right. The judge made very strange comments. If you're afraid of dying, perhaps you should practice your religion. It's a female judge. It was just a very insensitive and oddball comment. Everybody's kind of afraid of dying. Nobody wants it. The way she said it, strange. This is happening. Joe Biden could stop it. He won't. He can't, because he's owned by the far left. Next.
I stopped the IRS from using the Johnson Amendment to interfere with pastors' freedom of speech and all religious leaders, not only pastors. And Joe Biden took it right away, and I will give it right back. We're going to give it right back. You know, a long time ago, I learned about the Johnson Amendment a long time ago. They've basically taken away your rights. You're not allowed, if you're a minister, a pastor, or other religious leader or rabbi, if you want to say things that are political, they take away your tax exemptions and they really destroy you. And I put that back, and now they've put it back. It's like a yo-yo.
He's right. You know about this whole thing with the Johnson Amendment? Here's what the Biden administration did earlier this year. Put out a helpful reminder. Hey, we're back enforcing this stuff. The IRS reminds churches and charities of the 50-year-old ban on political activity. This thing was actually seldom enforced, but these people mean business. Notice, organizations organized and operated for religious, charitable, scientific testing, or for public safety. Notice that they put religious first. Okay, religious is at the top of the list. And what can't you do if you are a religious nonprofit? You can't say anything political? You are banned. Oral statements on behalf of or in opposition to a candidate. Every organization, secular organization in the world, is putting out statements about candidates and the threat to democracy and all this stuff. Anyway, this should change, and it will change under President Trump. Did you know this about gun owners, actually, that many of them are reluctant to vote?
Gun owners don't vote very much. I mean, I'm saying this is just statistically, we have to get people that own guns have to go and vote. You own a rifle, you want to keep your rifle, you better go vote, because the Second Amendment is under siege and you have to vote. And who would have known that? I think it's sort of a protest. You're so angry about what's happening. But this is over years. Gun owners don't vote much, meaning, you know, some vote, but not, relatively speaking, not that much. And Christians go to church, but they don't vote that much. Do you know the power you have if you would vote?
Well, again, he's right about this stuff. Gun owners, you think, yeah, very politically active, but not all of them. And the same goes for Christians. They are what they call low propensity voters. 40 to 45 million non-voting Christians who could totally change the game if they want to. All right, 18-wheelers. Have you ever been in one of these things? A friend of mine drives them, and it's a fascinating life, and you have to actually have a lot of skill. Donald Trump met up with the CEO of one of these companies, and the CEO does not want to go electric because they'll have to charge like 50 times, and it's crazy. Listen to the discussion as he describes it.
If they force this electric mandate on us, we'll go back 70 years, not 50 years. He said, we'll have to stop 6 times from New York to Los Angeles. I said, how many times do you have to stop now? None. We go directly New York to Los Angeles, all the way, no stops.
Well, CNN came out right away, and a bunch of other fact checkers. Oh, that's incorrect. Trump told a story in which he claimed someone told him that non-electric trucks do not have to stop when driving from New York to Los Angeles, though they do. Yeah, you know how often? Once. Did you know the range of a tractor trailer can be up to 1,800 miles? I had no idea, but this is what I mean about these little things that you pick up. And you also realize that Donald Trump is a human being with feelings, and who remembers that fake story about the troops, suckers and losers? Remember that lie? Well, they ran with it because they could.
The latest scandal Donald Trump is embroiled in, this time over some truly atrocious comments that he reportedly made about U.S. soldiers and those men and women who've given their lives for their country.
You're right to be outraged, but you haven't been paying attention. Because this is a guy who has a long history of insulting military heroes.
They are not suckers. They are not losers. Donald Trump is the loser. That's the message coming from veterans across the country.
The president should humbly apologize to every Gold Star mother and father and every Blue Star family that he's denigrated and insulted.
I got to admit, I haven't thought of this fake story probably in a couple of years. I guess we'll hear it again during the campaign. These stories, they're told about you, can leave a mark, and I think this one did. Donald Trump said so this weekend.
They made up a story about me with suckers and losers. They made up this story about me looking down at graves saying sucker. They make it up, suckers and losers. Who were surrounded by military people? There's nobody that's stupid enough to make that statement. Think of it. And I was president. I would have said that would have been justified for somebody to start taking swings at me.
And just remember this, in the heat of that campaign, with this fake story going mega viral, what did Fox News do? Did they do what they're supposed to do, what Roger Ailes had in mind, to seek the truth and to maybe ignore what the mob is doing and find out what really happened? No, they just joined the wolf pack.
My sources include two senior former Trump administration officials who were on the trip to France where these remarks allegedly were made. They confirmed key parts of the Atlantic article and certainly described a pattern of behavior by the president in describing war veterans and wounded warriors that coincides with the description in the Atlantic article.
They confirm key parts, coincides. A little bit of gobbledygook there, but the damage was done. Fox News confirming the fake story. We all know who the source was, General Kelly. It's interesting about this guy. He doesn't show his face in public. I noticed that he doesn't speak in public. He's always bad-mouthing Trump in private. CNN will write an article. He doesn't go on television. Donald Trump, somebody told him that the generals were really impressive. They're not. People in the military know about these guys. With precious few exceptions, they are ultra political and ultra ineffective. We all know that now. We're on a losing streak in America when it comes to warfare, in large part thanks to these guys. All right. Oh, and the article was fake. They had nobody on the record, right? But it was in the middle of a campaign, and you had to do anything to stop Trump, right?